Observers had only known that Mr. Simon Ekpa's trial would occur sometime in May of 2025. No specific day or hour had been released, and that uncertainty created a great deal of speculation among legal experts, human rights advocates, and diplomatic analysts. With the Finnish government's announcement, we now have a concrete schedule. The Payam District Court has published its calendar of hearings for May, and on the morning of May the 10th, a courtroom will be filled with representatives from government agencies, legal teams, and members of the public eager to witness how the Finnish judiciary handles a case of such international consequence. The first piece of evidence that the Finnish security apparatus has identified relates to social media activity. Investigators have combed through Mr. Simon Ekpa's posts and communications on platforms such as Twitter and Facebook, highlighting content that they describe as propaganda. According to official summaries, these posts allegedly encouraged or celebrated unrest, and prosecutors intend to present screenshots, metadata, and expert testimony on how this content may have influenced real-world events. It is clear that Finnish authorities view online messaging as a central pillar of their case. The second element of the prosecution's case involves a set of charges tied to a specific offence, whose name has been withheld from public transcripts. During the press briefing, the presenter hesitated to pronounce the exact term, citing restrictions on digital platforms that might remove or shadow ban the broadcast. While the precise label remains undisclosed in the public domain, it is understood to be one of the most serious allegations against Mr. Simon Ekpa, potentially carrying severe penalties if proven in court. The mystery around this term has only fueled further curiosity about the depth and gravity of the charges. The third strand of evidence focuses on the impact of Mr. Simon Ekpa's activities on relations between the Republic of Finland and the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Finnish officials argue that his actions have gone beyond domestic disturbance and have damaged diplomatic ties. They plan to present communications between government offices, statements from Nigerian representatives, and analyses by foreign policy experts to show how Mr. Simon Ekpa's movement has strained bilateral cooperation in areas such as trade, security, and cultural exchange. 4 distinct groups have been called upon to testify when the trial begins. The first group consists of individuals who identify themselves as victims of violence linked to Mr. Simon Ekpa's activities. These people are expected to give personal accounts of how their lives were disrupted, whether through direct threats, property damage, or intimidation. Their stories will aim to put human faces on the abstract charges and demonstrate the real-world consequences of the alleged offences. The second group invited to give evidence is the Enugu state government and its official representative. It was unexpected to see a subnational government travel all the way to Helsinki, but the Enugu state government has publicly supported Mr. Simon Ekpa's arrest and signalled its willingness to provide documents and witnesses regarding his activities in southeastern Nigeria. 5 months ago, the day newspaper reported that the Enugu state government welcomed his detention, promising to share records of rallies, communications, and funding sources. Their presence underscores the transnational reach of this case. Community leaders from regions affected by unrest form the third group of witnesses. These leaders, who speak on behalf of villages and local councils, are slated to describe how Mr. Simon Ekpa's movement influenced social cohesion, public order, and the safety of their communities. They will likely draw on local court records, community meeting minutes, and press statements to illustrate the ripple effects of his campaign on everyday life in those areas. The fourth group includes legal experts from Finland and abroad. These scholars and practitioners will discuss the legal framework under which Mr. Simon Ekpa is being tried, including the interpretation of treason statutes, definitions of terrorism, and the standards of evidence required for convictions. Their testimony will help the judges understand how similar cases have been handled elsewhere and whether Finland's approach aligns with international norms. If the court finds Mr. Simon Ekpa guilty of the most serious charges, such as treason or the unnamed offence mentioned earlier, he could face a maximum penalty of life imprisonment in a Finnish correctional facility. This would reflect the severity with which Finland treats threats to its constitutional order and national security. Life sentences in Finland, while rare, underscore the government's determination to deter actions deemed harmful to the state. Even if the judges do not impose a life sentence, Mr. Simon Ekpa could still receive a lengthy prison term. Prosecutors have suggested that depending on the specific charges and the weight of the evidence, he could be sentenced to anywhere from several years to a full life term. Finnish sentencing guidelines provide ranges for various offences, but the final decision rests on how the court evaluates the facts presented and the degree of harm caused. Finnish courts also have broad judicial discretion when it comes to sentencing. They can consider mitigating factors such as Mr. Simon Ekpa's personal background, expressions of remorse, or cooperation with authorities. On the other hand, the court may also weigh aggravating factors, like the scale of violence attributed to him or the extent of cross-border damage to Finland's international relationships. This flexibility means that predicting the exact outcome remains challenging until the judges issue their ruling. It is already drawing interest from political commentators, legal scholars, and diplomatic observers around the globe. International news outlets are following developments closely, analyzing what a conviction or acquittal could mean for Finland's approach to political activism and its relations with Nigeria. Human rights organizations are also monitoring the case, eager to ensure that Mr. Simon Ekpa receives a fair hearing under Finnish law. Given the high stakes and international dimension of the trial, Finnish authorities have emphasized that security will be tight and proceedings will be transparent. The Päijänne District Court has announced plans to allow accredited journalists and diplomatic representatives to attend the hearing, subject to standard security checks. Live streaming of certain parts of the trial may be offered, ensuring that the public can observe how justice is administered. In an unexpected twist, there was also an update concerning the President of the United States of America and the United States of Biafra movement. Reports indicate that the President of the United States of America is considering sending a representative or possibly attending in person a major event organized by the United States of Biafra movement in Washington, D.C., just minutes away from the White House. Observers believe that this move could signal a broader interest in the political aspirations of groups linked to Mr. Simon Ekpa's cause, further complicating the diplomatic landscape. As we look ahead to May 10, 2025, it is clear that Mr. Simon Ekpa's trial will be a landmark case for Finland. It will test the country's legal principles, diplomatic resilience, and commitment to the rule of law. Whether you follow developments as a concerned citizen, a legal professional, or a member of the international community, the outcome will resonate far beyond the walls of the Päijänne District Court. I encourage you to stay informed, to reflect on the balance between security and individual rights, and to watch closely as Finland's judicial process unfolds in this unprecedented case.
All right, guys. So to the Nigerian government, everyone that has submitted one or two other documents with regards to, like those of them desiring to see that Simon Ekpa goes to jail, they'll be very, very happy to see that Simon Ekpa goes to jail, and which is not good anticipation, right? So, and like people would always say, they said, and the enemy of a pastor is a pastor, all right? So the enemy of a doctor is a doctor. So the enemy of the Igbos is another Igbo man. So this to tell you that even though, despite what happens, okay, come what may, no matter how hard this guy works, all right, if God is really with the people, this case is definitely going to be in favor of Biafrans. All right, we understand that the fight is a fight of freedom, and everybody loves freedom. So let's see how Simon Ekpa loses this case. All right, so just in case the first time you're submitting us, please do us well to subscribe, like, and comment on the video. All right, for more Biafran updates from this channel.